week.
Hi. Thank you all for coming. I'm here today to hear your stories, our brave souls, our Hoosier citizens who have already and are currently enduring so much loss. Our experiences are all so different, but we are one and the same, and coming together and supporting one another is what we need right now. Your courage to speak is hope. It is what will save our children in the future. This is so important as we approach, like Margaret said, the final step in emergency authorization of the shot for 5 to 11-year-olds. This week, today and tomorrow, CDC is meeting and will come to an agreement with the FDA, most likely, and then 28 million children will be eligible and begin receiving this injection. I've been in this fight for everyone, losing lives, livelihoods, and facing discrimination. But now, dragging the children into this, along comes my heart and soul. Approving this COVID vaccine for 5 to 11-year-olds, let alone the other older children that are already eligible, is unethical at best. Even if the utopian idea of this vaccine existed, for example, preventing infection, transmission, and the driving of mutations, it would still be unethical because there is no emergency due to COVID in children. When have we ever had a consensual societal thought that it's the child's job to protect the adults? Never. Dr. Hildreth of the FDA Advisory Committee stated, "It just seems to me that in some ways we're vaccinating children to protect the adults." Yet he voted yes. We do not sacrifice our children for us. But let's let go of the dangerous thought of hypothetically setting our children on fire to keep us warm and bring reality back into the picture. This decision to approve the shot becomes downright sinister. It is widely known and accepted at this point that these shots do not prevent infection, transmission, or the driving of mutations. The infection survival rate for this age group is 99.9973. Bears repeating again. If a child contracts COVID, they have a 99.9973% chance of survival. Every death is tragic, and that is clear. But far and wide, the vast majority of children hospitalized had severe underlying conditions. The average uncompromised child has absolutely nothing to fear, but we keep them living in fear. A couple of things that we don't know at this point. We don't know if the injection will cause certain types of cancer. We don't know if this injection will cause infertility or autoimmune disorders to arise in 5 years. Approving this injection, here's what we do know. We know that we will see more myo and pericarditis. We know we will see more anaphylactic shock and multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children, Guillain-Barré syndrome, and Bell's palsy. And we know we will see more death. The decision to approve this was based on no data showing a reduction in hospitalization, no evidence that prevents cases in children, no evidence for 5 to 11-year-olds, and no data that it prevents spread or death. As the trial that Pfizer put for the 5 to 11-year-olds showed, there were no severe COVID cases in either the experimental group or the control group. In the advisory committee, it was stated that at bare minimum, 40% of children have already had COVID. Yet, no child in the study was had previously been infected. So we do not know the outcome of vaccinating at least 11,200,000 little kids. Dr. Cody Messonnier stated, "We are getting down to a very small percentage of otherwise healthy 6 to 11-year-olds who might derive some benefit, and we simply don't know what the side effects are going to be. It is not even clear that this vaccine will reduce rates of transmission." Yet, he voted yes. He voted yes based on this science. Quote, "Many mothers and fathers and parents are eager to administer this vaccine to children because they're so frightened, perhaps overly so." The science of fear. Some more astounding science used to give a yes came from Dr. Rubin. "We're never going to learn about how safe the vaccine is until we start giving it, and that's just the way it goes." So, the administration is prepared to administer this shot to 28 million children based on fear and completely unknown outcomes to a population that has 99.9973 recovery rate. Sinister. We know that myocarditis can be an effect from natural infection. However, there is evidence that shows the risk is almost 4 to 6 times higher with the shot than COVID itself. Dr. Stock may refer to this study in more detail and discuss more clinical information. There's so much more to say regarding the decision to vaccinate children, but I will leave you with this final quote from the committee, followed by a suggestion. Dr. Messonnier went on to say, "I'm just worried that if we say yes, that the states are going to mandate this for children to go to school." Now, Governor Holcomb is on the record saying that this will not be a mandate. We need legislation written to protect these children. Please write, call, email. We need to let our policymakers know that this is urgent, and we need to protect our kids now. While other states are protecting their citizens by creating anti-discrimination legislation, protecting doctors' rights to prescribe life-saving treatment without fear of license suspension, and protecting kids in schools, our state is sitting on their hands claiming that they're not in session right now. Meanwhile, Holcomb and Indiana Public Health are preparing for mass vaccination for 5 to 11-year-olds before the approval is even in place. At the Indiana Motor Speedway, Governor Holcomb coining the phrase, "the greatest spectacle in vaccination." So, again, I want to thank you all because you guys here sitting at our table are... Dr. Stock.